Welcome back, everybody, to the final series of the day, the final best of 3. We have one more spot for Gamescom, and it's either going to be NaVi or Kinguin who will advance. Both teams are ready. We have our first map, and it is actually going to be Cursed Hollow. Kinguin successful against Rocket in the losers match, and NaVi, of course, losing just a few minutes ago against Fnatic in the winners match here. A dominant performance by Fnatic. They advance, and we are now going into the first draft between NaVi and Kinguin to find out what the first lineup is going to be. And the first thing that happens here is an immediate ban on Illidan. We can expect Zeratul to be banned out too, and that is very reminiscent of like 2 months back, I want to say, when you always would see both of those melee assassins instantly banned out.
Yeah, and the melee assassins are very much getting focused. They're all very strong. And there's the fact that they are very terrifying to deal with due to the fact that instead of like a ranged assassin who is just working you down, a melee assassin is right up in your face doing all that damage directly in front of you. And like you said, NaVi, they may have lost in a convincing fashion in the games they lost, but one of the only 2-1 series today, the game they won was just pure domination. So definitely have a good chance at going through here. Although in the last game, they did also successfully open up their new delivery company, delivering their own death in 30 minutes or less, or your money back. I
was just rather saying that Fnatic won in dominant fashion. Losing in dominant fashion kind of sets a bit of a purpose there, right? NaVi did a really good job. I mean, in dominant fashion, they lost this game
well,
just now.
To be fair, NaVi did manage to do that in the last series.
Gamers too, I want to say, did that yesterday. Dog, I still feel so sorry for them.
I know.
They played so well, and then in the end, they just threw it away. But well, of course, this is a very different series that we've been talking about. Now we are looking at NaVi versus Kinguin, and it is the Jaina first pick. Not surprising to see that. Now the question, how soon are we going to see the Sagara for Kinguin? They've showcased several times that they really love the hero, especially on maps like Cursed Hollow, and sometimes even picked her first here.
Yeah, and she has huge amounts of area control, and this is one of the maps that has one of the affectionately named death brushes. And Sagara is one of those few heroes who can actually really mitigate those by dropping a creep tumor in one on the way past to a tribute or something like that. Kinguin, though, starting off with Utho, and now we see this a lot. It's very telling that there could be a melee assassin, but it doesn't guarantee one. So it gives whoever picks it a lot of freedom with their later picks.
It keeps you flexible, and that's what really matters here, because then you can adjust to what your opponent is doing, but it opens up the possibility for you going into a melee assassin early on. Kinguin is actually the one taking Uther here, and NaVi was the one playing or attempting to play Butcher several times, so pretty interesting twist that we see there. Kinguin, of course, has been watching these matches that NaVi just played against Fnatic, and so they have a bit of an idea what NaVi is aiming for. I think this influenced the decision to go into an Uther first as well. Yeah,
the Uther, the most flexible, flex-offering pick. Uther, the yoga instructor, is pretty good in situations. His yoga instructor keeps you flexible. Bit of a slow reaction on that one.
no, come on. You can't blame this one on me. This pun was so bad. Like, you had such good puns this week. But, like, this one, Uther, the yoga instructor, look at the guy.
That's what makes it funny.
Jesus. But yeah, the Muradin with that. Is that also yoga instructor right there?
I really don't feel
nearly the same. Just look at the beard, dude.
I have a really bad mental image. Well, his dance move is actually pretty appropriate.
Come on, you didn't have to put that in my head now. An Abatha and a Johanna. Let's come back to heroes.
Yeah, very, very powerful. We've seen this before. The Abatha cloning the Jada with that huge amount of burst damage you can get from the double chilled. And of course, Abatha on Johanna basically turns Johanna into a giant bus, which is able to transport Abatha around to cause mayhem.
Thanks to you, I'm having the picture of a Muradin doing an aerobic instruction video right now. And one, and two, and one, and two. Well, we have the pretty cool setup here. If you have actually a Muradin already on the board and also an Uther, of course the chances are there that you go Tyrande. So we might see a Tyrande ban out of NaVi. And NaVi already heading into the Abatha here, which is actually pretty cool together with the Tyrande, with the Johanna already. The Jaina in the backline is great damage, and that opens them up to maybe even go still for one of those melee assassins, but you don't really have to do that. Cursed Hollow Abatha himself is amazing with his push-up capabilities. But I still think that a ban on a Tyrande would probably be a pretty smart move for NaVi, given that Kinguin is already running a very scary setup with a lot of stuns.
Yeah, banning out the Tyrande here is very good because, like you said, you can get the Muradin Tyrande roaming squad. There's still the option for Kinguin to pick up, say, a Butcher or any other kind of roaming melee assassin with a lot of stun that combos really well. Or maybe Kinguin could take a leaf out of NaVi's book and pick the Stitches. Not a great map for him because it's a bit bigger. There are some very good angles for him. Like, it used to be one of his best maps, but since his hook got that cooldown reduction, it's so easy to miss, and then suddenly your main engage ability is down.
Yeah, and so far they didn't even pick anything, you know? I mean, right now they're just like waiting for that ban, and there is the Tyrande as expected. So Tyrande to make sure that there is not going to be such a sick stun comp on the side of their opponent. With the Malfurion already being banned out, could we even see a second healer now taken? I actually think that Kinguin showed that several times already, so there is definitely the option for them. Get Amherd sometimes goes into the second healer for them, and they might go into a Rhaegar here.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. They've not shown any of their assassins, so they can absolutely cater their assassins to those double healers if that's what they want to go for. Their warrior is solid. He doesn't need much focus from a healer, so they can very easily work their way around that. But they may want to just prioritize some damage dealers first. There is the Kael'thas.
Making sure that they at least have the Fire Mage on their side here. Now, besides the Kael'thas, of course, there's still the opportunity to pick a healer away from the opponent. But if you don't want to do that, if you want to play more of a solid setup, then you could even go into a Nazeebo here. Could use him to deliver extra damage to your opponent. But keep that Zagara in mind, that for Kinguin was always a high priority pick, and it would still fit into the composition that is being played by them.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised Zagara hasn't been picked so early, but it makes sense when you have a look at the order in which things were picked. The Muradin, the safe choice in terms of warrior, the Uther, the flexible choice, and there is the... and NaVi has all gone in for that one particular style of whoever Abathur jumps on is going to have a wonderful time so far. And Kinguin taking a lot of time with this decision.
Yeah, right now they're currently looking at 42 seconds still remaining. Zagara, I could definitely see her being picked here. I could the approach of trying to get a double healer and then pick another strong damage dealer later on to force NaVi into a Lili pick. Now, of course, also the opportunity to just simply take one of the other damage dealers on the board right now. We've seen a lot of double tanks today. NaVi, Kinguin has already a setup that allows them to do basically all of this, thanks to the flexibility granted by our two yoga instructors, Muradin and Uther.
They are, in fact, going for that double warrior setup with the Anubarak, so not trying to steal away the support. Instead, just making sure they have a much more solid front line to protect Kael'thas until the late game. Also, incredible harassment to dislodge those, to interrupt those tribute attempts.
Yeah, and exactly with that Muradin and the Anubarak, you have now extremely solid front line there, as you already said, and this is one of those duos that has been around for a long time. It's really difficult to break through those two, and they can also engage you with the Dwarf Toss and also, of course, the Burrow Charge here. They just need a little bit more damage, and there is so much now on the board that they can still use, starting with a Nazeebo, going to a Zagara, a Vala, even a Sylvanas could be still picked here. For their opponents, for NaVi, of course, we see first of all the Rhaegar pick. They still need a healer with this setup, but what is going to be the last pick for them? They could go into any kind of melee hero, but we don't have that. We could actually also see them just to go into some additional damage.
Yeah, we will have to see what they do go for. NaVi, they still have plenty of time on their picks right now, and like you said, I think additional damage, but they still do have the option for those melee assassins where they are quite limited. The Kerrigan is still out in the open, but this map not as great as Haunted Mines for her, but it's still pretty solid. Butcher is still out in the open, but Ancestral Healing not as good on the Butcher as it is on some of the other. They are going safe and going with the Zagara for themselves.
And they are the ones who go for the Zagara pick immediately, and now, of course, we have the last pick still available to Kinguin. And Nazeebo, I could see that there. Vala would also be kind of nice for them. Nazeebo, Vala, Sylvanas, probably the three heroes that would make the most sense for them.
Yep, I would agree. Falstad could fit in as well, but I agree that the others do make a lot more sense. They already have a pretty heavy burst mage on their team. You don't need another one, but I suppose Falstad with auto attacks might be good. But
he has the global presence that he can use, so that's kind of nice for him that he can just jump across the map and help you out wherever you need him. But then more damage would probably be something that Nazeebo is able to provide you if you are looking more towards pressuring down a lane and getting some more like consistency on the lane. Then the Sylvanas is very strong, and it is instead a Tacita, giving them even more sustain. That's actually an interesting choice here. A Tacita, of course, not bad, especially if he goes for the range on his Storm. He has a very good chance of interrupting tribute takes. He can also, in those tribute fights, use his AoE spells. The Arcanine in the fights is good too, But that's a very heavy sustain level, given that they already have 2 tanks in their midst.
It's a lot of sustain and actually not that much damage until they hit level 16. Like Tassadar, he used to be like one of the ultimate assassin substitutes. Assassin light, if you will. Diet assassin. But nowadays he just doesn't do enough due to the fact that he got a couple nerfs to his Archon form and the way that his Storm worked. So nowadays he is picked, like you said, as that utility pick, as that extra sustain with that little damage on the side. But I really think just a second main assassin would have been a bit of a better choice for them. But it's all about protecting that Kael'thas until late game for them now.
Yeah, but Kael'thas, this is a little bit of a one-trick pony show that they're currently running here. Kael'thas is strong, but level 16 is very late in the game. And also, level 16 does not guarantee you a win, especially if your opponent is running...
It just means you can actually start doing damage.
Yeah, especially if your opponent is running a setup where they also have like this Abathur that is going to just like split push your lanes the entire time with those Locust talents. So this is going to be a bit of a tricky setup. I'm really curious to see if they get the damage out there that they really want, because I totally expected something like a Nazebo that can really put even more pressure on the opponent. They had so many options of going into an assassin. Even a Vala would have been a good choice for them, but they decided to go into Tassadar.
Indeed. So, players are already up, so we're going to get into the game as soon as possible. But, yeah, the Tassadar, not too much damage, a lot of extra sustain. Like you said, 16 is not a guaranteed win. But on the other side of the map, we are going to be seeing the Abathur on pretty much anyone and are going to have a wonderful time. Like the cloned Jainers are just going to do immense amounts of damage. The Abathur symbiote on the Johanna is, like I said, just a chaos bus that just rolls through your neighborhood and just breaks everything.
It's really, really annoying, especially, of course, when that spike comes into play, then Needle Spine as well. But we could also see, again, this hybrid build where you try to push those lanes a bit with your own Locust. And on this map in particular, it would make a lot of sense. One of the strengths on Abathur is always the soak experience while the objectives are up. Imagine a tribute spawning at the bot lane, Abathur taking position in one of the bushes up at the top, soaks experience while the rest of the team is fighting for the tribute, and Abathur is just helping out with that symbiote. And the map is live, so we're going to jump right into it to find out who's going to take the lead in this best of 3 series, the last one of the day here at the WCA European Pro Qualifier. And in the mid lane, or well, to the left side of the map, we have, as you can see, Shwimpy playing Abathur for NaVi. JPL is playing Zagara. Alex the Pro G, the new player replacing Breeze, is on Johanna. We have Eternal on Jaina, and Splendor playing Rhaegar. The right side of the map, it is their German opponent. It is Nurok and Nuburak. Nepse on Uther today. We have Snow on Muradin, and Get Amhead on Tassadar as Invium is playing Kael'thas.
Having a look at some of the talents, and Abathur has already started with those Locusts.
Loving it.
And on the other side, though, we have a perfect storm brewing coming for the Muradin. He's going to start stacking up that hammer. And the Kael'thas going with the Fell Infusion, not trusting it, the mana regen. I don't think he expects to be for the fights to last long enough for that to really help.
I like most of these talents, especially the talent on level 1 for Abathur. I absolutely love it. I think this build is one of the best that we have in the game right now, and for their purposes, it's absolutely amazing. If you're looking at a hero like Muradin, why would he go into Reverberation? There's so little auto-attack damage on the side of their opponents that I don't think it matters too much. We have, of course, on one hand, Zagara, who can get a few points in there. But if you have that perfect storm, then you can just like take structures down so easily. And as we have 2 bosses on this map, it also works against them. And that is actually quite valuable, especially in the late game.
Yeah, and the fact you do take the Pierce on the level 7, so not only the bosses, the easy camps, the hard camps, it just allows you to tear through anything non-hero related.
Exactly. So this is absolutely amazing for them, and I really love this build. We're having on the side of Rhaegar again the mana reduction talent, so it's very likely that we're seeing a Shadow Wolf on level 4. And I'm really so curious how Tassadar is going to fit in here, so we're going to find out, because it's kind of interesting. Yesterday we just talked to Get Amhead a bit about the hero as well, and he also said that it's a pretty vanilla hero. The one topic of discussion was that Tassadar is currently in the NA meta very valued, and most of the European players agree that they would not rank him as high as the North Americans. So right now we see him as a last pick in the game to give the team a little bit more tankiness, and also, of course, that area of effect damage.
Yeah, very much so. So we're almost definitely going to have to see Tassadar taking the static charge on his level 7, just so he has any kind of damage, and may even see him forego that dimensional shift build, just for maybe going for the double storm. so he can just get even more damage out, because he's going to need the damage, because you can't just rely on Kale Pass.
Definitely true. And currently, it's also interesting the level 4 talent on Abathur. Normally, you would see him still go for the Adrenal Overlord. But who are you going to use it for? Who really needs that extra attack speed? And that's now one of those things where he could decide to go into a Toxic Nest build a bit and have a bit of a variation there. So I'm very curious to see. He's still going for it. He's still going for the Adrenal Overlord, for the increased attack speed. A lot of the damage that we are seeing on them relies on other traits. But yeah, he's still going for the same build. And of course, we'll have, Feral Heart indeed again for Rega, even though there is the Spirit Walker's Grace, so not going into the Shadow Wolf.
Yep, sticking with that style. And the Adrenal Overlord does make a little bit of sense due to the fact it can combo with Johanna if she does take that Battle Momentum talent, so she can spam out that Conviction a lot. And it works a little bit with Zagara, as she did take the extra auto attack damage over time, so she can really set up some nice poison. It's pretty much the only talent it's ever taken, but it does mean that the Symbiote will at some point have to be on Zagara.
Gerd with another Storm, channeling or stopping the channel on Splendor. But there's not too much experience that we're actually seeing gathered for Kinguin through this. They had at the top lane Nepson and Snow trying to push Shrimpy back. But still, in experience, they are both exactly on the same level. Of course, against Zagara, that's one of the things that Tassadar can really provide the team. Again, this vision on the tumors. This is an added benefit that you have with the Tassadar, and that's also one of the reasons why we're seeing the mental acuity taken on a level 4, which further reduces the cooldown of Oracle by 15 seconds.
Yep, Jaina coming up to the top lane right now, because Muradin and Ufa have pushed this lane pretty hard and already taken down the first tower, so she needs to get up here and defend. Norok pushed up very hard here, gonna get condemned, and he does have his Barrow Charge, and he will just use that to get right back behind his wall.
Escapes for now, but still Alex pushing this in, and they get level 7 just a tiny bit faster than their opponents here. Could be a Mule, could be a Needle Spine that's been taken on level 7 for Abathur here, is currently hesitating.
The Needle Spine going to be getting that extra damage out, whereas the Anubrak going with the better barbs, very nice for denying those tributes, as it does do a little damage over time from wherever the path of the Impale does go.
Of course, the Piercing Bolt on level 7 for Muradin, that's a crucial talent to take here. We are seeing still no talent for Tassadar, who we would expect to go into Static Charge here. Eternal is trying to zone for Splendor so that he can get this particular tribute, but nope, there it is. Another quick attempt to cancel the channel. Good stun here from Snow, but Nepster might die after all, gets sucked in and taken out.
There is a bit of a scuffle over the tribute. Tassadar continuing to deny that pretty effectively. Still not taking his level 7. Impale comes in, but there you go. There's damage over time that causes Splendor to reposition himself. He was being interrupted. Gets interrupted again by Snow, but Snow taking a lot of damage from Eternal, and JPL will be forced to back up, but he's taking a lot of damage. He's already used his Dwarf Toss, and down he goes.
Yeah, NaVi getting 2 easy kills here, and no level 7 talent for Tassadar still for some reason. A little bit surprising, and now of course with that momentum that they have, they just move up to the top lane and start taking the structures out. We still have a lot of experience gathered by the red team. At the bot lane, a huge wave is pushing in, and they were able to take down 2 of the towers in the meantime.
Yep, and with this wave here and the Beetles, there was potential for them to dive this while Abathur is there, which is why he has now moved quite a bit further back, so he's out of vision range. Eternal, once again, going to be the one who comes to deal with the wave that's pushing, and to clear that up with the help of Abathur is what he's going to have to do. And Pro G, once again, continuing to just push in this mid lane.
Alex in the mid lane here doing some work up to the top lane. We're currently still seeing Nepsa in the bush. We're having Gerd Amherd here rotating over again. He took Static Charge by now. There's the level 10. More taken. Blast Shield and Bam Bam Bam, Water Elemental and Ancestral Healing. And Abathur going, of course, into the Ultimate Evolution so that he can get the copy on Jaina.
Yep, and that is absolutely wonderful, that copy on Jaina, because like we said, the chill from either Jaina gives bonus damage to the other, so they can spam out their abilities and do some lovely damage. Level 10 has now been hit by Kinguin, and we see standard stuff from them as well. The Web Blast, Divine Shield, Avatar, the Archon, and the Phoenix.
Yeah, down here to the bot lane, Siege Giant Cam is starting to move in, but this is Tribute number 3, and both of the teams on the same level. Well, now level 11 hits. It's a slight advantage that they have, but can NaVi push in for this one? There comes a quick Storm Ball. That Hydralisk not doing too much, but we have Kel'Thas down to the mid lane. He now starts to rotate over. The Bruiser Camp is moving into the mid lane, so they can't drag out the fight too long, or they will lose a few buildings in the middle here. But we have NaVi getting again ready for a fight, trying to cancel out Snow's channel.
Yeah, and they have another Frostbolt that's going to be able to do that. Abathur soaking some nice XP for the mid-bot lane and takes down the easy camp. And Ubrak taking quite a bit of damage here. There's the Web Blast being used onto the backline. Ubrak comes in, stuns up Jada. She goes down. The Abathur clone is available though, and that is a nice devouring maw. Can they get any kind of damage from out of this? But no, Shrimpy misses his Frostbolt and doesn't really have anything else of cooldown for that clone.
Wow.
And that is a kill for nothing in favor of Team Kinguin.
That was actually like quite frustrating. A great maw being used, 3 heroes trapped, and Jaina is already dead and cannot capitalize on it. Very, very frustrating here on the side of Team Kinguin. Oh, sorry, of NaVi. Kinguin, therefore, with 1 kill and the attempt to go for the boss in a decent position. Abathur is still soaking the bot lane experience. And we're seeing now another boss being taken, of course, as well. Since we have NaVi moving straight to the bot lane, saying like, all right, if you take the boss at the top, we're at least going to get the one down here.
Yeah, and this is quite convenient. This is something they can absolutely afford to do just due to the lack of damage on the side of Kinguin, because it's going to take them far too long to kill off that top boss to even think about coming down to contest.
Yeah, down to the bot lane, Shrimpy is still soaking EXP. It's interesting actually that they are not really far ahead when it comes to experience, considering how much Shrimpy was trying to be out on lane to get this EXP for his team.
This is a very true. Both bosses going to be pushing. We're going to see Jaina and Zagara and Rhaegar defending that top one. Whereas in the bot lane, it is going to be Tassadar, Muradin, and Uther. Uther, though, moving up to that tribute. There's going to be no contestant due to the fact that NaVi are a little busy with this guy.
Just a little bit. Busy at the top lane, taking him out. Of course, to the bot lane, we're seeing very much the same thing, but a lot of damage already on the fort here. They do not have a mule there, of course, to heal this one up. And here's the channel. Apparently they already, yeah, they must have been stunned out by one of the toxic nests, but still they get it in the end, and there is now 2 tributes against 2 up to the top. A fourth falls, but there's an even trade as down to the bot lane. We see Kinguin taking down one of the structures as well.
However, while this is going on, we see Johanna, who has been in the mid lane, soaking even more XP and pushing this up. Tassadar has only just got here to really start clearing this and to soak XP from there as well. Now he's just leaving. He's thinking about it. No, he's going to stay and defend.
One of the things that is a little bit scary now is that Abathur is already in possession of the Bombard strain. And once the level 16 hits, he is going to be all over the map trying to push these lanes back, and this is going to become very, very scary for the opponent's team. If you're just out of position a little bit, Abathur can move in, especially if you have taken a camp at some point and start to push these lanes, and that's exactly what Shrimpy is already doing. So he's far out on the map, just waiting for his next talent, using those Bombard Strain Locusts to push these lanes back, and that is extremely powerful.
Yeah, but very hard to deal with. In comes Kinguin. Looks like they want to try and contest this Bruiser Camp, but they are far too late. Bruiser Camp is taken, but they throw in some harassment to it with the Impale and the Stormbolt.
Perfect location for the tribute here. They are already in position as they walk past. The tribute is announced. If they get this one, whoever takes the tribute will curse the opponent's team. Up at the top, Eternal trying to push Kadam Head in. Where's Abathur? He needs a copy right now. He's probably going to go for a Jaina copy. Nobody interrupts it. Yes, there we go.
Last second.
That was really last second, very much so. There's the copy, but the tribute, they are canceling him out in the last one. Here comes the quick ice block, but the kill against Jaina. Down here, it's the Web Blast being used already. Alex the Brogy moves back, but they are in a 4 versus 5 situation now.
Yeah, Alex the Brogy pushing in here, trying to help Shrimpy, the Abathur Jada clone, do anything that he can. And despite losing a member and the Abathur clone, they are actually in control of this area and are going to be able to pick up a tribute despite their numbers disadvantage. So, okay.
Quite impressive.
Yeah,
everybody
well
was
played.
already too low on the side of Kinguin, and they decided they had to move back.
Yeah, top lane also requires some defense due to the fact that Abathur is being Abathur up there.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we've been talking about earlier. Together with the camp, he can use those Bombard Strain Locusts to do quite a bit of damage, and now, of course, it's even worse. They are all of a sudden in a situation where they are cursed. That's more experience that we're going to see in just a few seconds for Team NaVi, and that allows Abathur then to move out with the Locust Brood. And that's going to be pretty brutal. There it is, so he's probably going to move up to the top lane, or bot lane I suppose, drops the triple Locust, and in the meantime the rest of the team is just moving into the middle, putting more pressure onto this keep.
Yeah, and we just saw the level 16 talent from Jaina, the Numbing Blast, roots a target for 1 second, so that's pretty nice and may be able to get a catch out there. And this is the ability that we usually see being used as, despite it being on your main assassin, the engage ability in the late game.
Yeah, mid lane, by the way, as we just saw Zagara take down one of the towers with a quick bailing attack. Moving in the mid lane now, additional pressure. They are already moving in to claim the second tower. They're nearly level 17 right now, so this is nearly a 2-level lead that they have. Abathur still active on the bottom lane and not moving anywhere just yet. He has the triple locust and he's using them again. And now that the curse is over, we see at least for now NaVi just move back.
Yeah, Abathur not going too far forward. These walls are still alive, so he can't exactly just walk straight past them. He's just going to slowly slug his way forward. Maybe once he knows where the enemy is, he'll walk forward and slap them to death himself and start putting down some locusts. But right now,
you could simply symbiote one of the locusts that moves past. It's the fastest way to actually take them down, much faster than slapping them.
This is true, and he could probably do it to his minion. He moved forward a bit, which did show on the wall there. But right now, no one from Kinguin either spotted or wants to come and deal with this.
Slug life right there. Top lane, that's where we have the boss taken. Ah, wow. He just comes back and he... Like, that boss is really, like... It's a little bit sad. He comes back and even before he's fully on the map, he's just like, what the hell? Gets slapped around from every single angle. Is down and great move there. And now all of a sudden, Kinguin is in a weird spot because, well, there is going to be an attack upon them in just a few seconds, but they might be able to just zerk that boss down before they arrive.
Have that much damage. In comes JPL. No one's going to be in this circle, though, so they do just get that boss in time, but they may lose some members. No, Alex is no way he's going to go that aggressive, especially with that very nice Storm Bolt coming out of snow. And that's going to give Kinguin a good opportunity to back up and get out of here. In the meantime, top boss is on the key.
But still pretty impressive that we're able to just kill out the boss at the bot lane fast enough to get the boss on their own, because that's really a move that they needed. If in this case NaVi gets both of the bosses, then they are in a lot of trouble. So that was the best case scenario for them.
Yeah, indeed it was. And we do see the Muradin going with the stone form, not going with the give him the axe that we've been seeing from a lot of Muradins today.
Yeah, and not successfully at that, did we?
Yeah, but to be fair, this might have been one of the situations where it might have worked. They do kind of need damage.
Yeah, but the problem is... Oh, yeah, okay, sorry. Other side of the team.
Yeah.
My bad.
Oh, Johanna getting caught out here. The Herp passive not helping out at all. Too many stuns. There's the Ancestral, though. And with Abathur on her, she's not going down. The Maw not going to land anyone. No one giving chase onto Alex the Pro G there, but it did keep Alex the Pro G alive.
Shrimpy is playing very passive here, by the way. He was out on the mid lane for a long time, but I didn't really see him burrow to any lane to drop the triple locust and then even move back or just like stay on lane for a bit. Up here to the top, Eternal tries to get away. Snow is looking for Jaina, but in the wrong spots. Yeah,
and Snow is actually going to be here. The tribute will finally be picked up by Kinguin, and that is a curse. But Abathur is going to keep this bot lane pretty unpushed, so they don't have to worry about that. So that's only 2 lanes they have to defend. Top lane still has its fort up, and so does mid lane.
This camp helps a lot. Taking this camp here really helps a lot now that they are cursed, and they will be able to defend for a bit longer, and that's all that they need to do. Abathur is still active at the bot lane, and the towers are soaking up, although a lot of the munition is being soaked. So Abathur is doing his thing. They will lose this 4, of course, eventually, but at least the camp helps out a little bit.
Yep, camp helps out a little bit indeed. Does get taken out, and fort top lane will go down as well. So that is 2 forts down, and that does give Team Kinguin their level 18, but NaVi are already at level 19.
Yeah, and once again the triple locust, the locust brute moves in, the wall is gone, and this tower is going to fall as well. The longer this lasts, the more time Abathur has to put some pressure on the keep at the bot lane.
This is very true. We're going to see a Nuvarak and Muradin get rooted up there, and Nevza just throwing out any kind of healing he can to keep his team sustained. The Flame Strikes, though, Kael'thas is at the level where he can do some damage. Unfortunately, he only has 2 stacks at the moment.
Yeah, he's the entire time just going for one Flame Strike after another. Now they need to move back again since we have the well down already. And the curse is over. But in the mid lane, there's still this engagement as we have immediately Johanna moving in. But Alex is in a bit of trouble already. He used his trade, moving back here. The Web Blast goes down, locks one of the opponents in place. And everybody on the side of Kinguin is trying to go for them right now. Moving back in the last second is Splendor. The Ancestral Healing saving Zagara, jumping back with a level 20. The Bolt of the Storm just coming in handy at the right moment in time. The Divine Shield saving Muradin, at least for now, up at the top. And Venom is rushing away from Shrimpy, Scorpio, and Jaina. But it looks like Shrimpy might get the kill. No, he doesn't. The Flamestar takes him down. Snow is nearly dead, but the heal in the last second by Nepsa.
Alex the Prodigy does have the Lightning Shield on him, and he is able to take him down. We do see the Kael'thas go down as well, and Eternal just cleaning up in the top area now. Nurok in full retreat, but Amethyst on him will demount him, and Nepsa, there's the knock-up, but he's slowing them down enough for Johanna and Eternal to chase down, but those beetles will demount Eternal, but Nepsa is going to get no cleanse, actually. We'll keep him on the run for a little bit, but here comes JPL, and suddenly it's a 4 versus 1, and that ain't happened. However, Nubarak was able to sneak away during all this, but the NaVi are now just going to push this keep, and this will be the first keep of the game.
The keep is going to fall here. It doesn't really look like, are they going to be able to core it? 20 seconds on most of the heroes. It looks a bit unlikely, but they might try it. Oh, if they get the kill on a Nubarak, they definitely will.
Oh, nice power
to move back.
He needs to defend as much as possible, disrupt every stun he can. Kael'thas back in 8 seconds. Muradin back in 6. It may be enough. That's a lot of damage being taken down very quickly. 70% on the core. Kael'thas is now back. So is Muradin. They drop NECC. Down goes to Nubarak. But the Storm Shield has already been dropped. That will keep them nice and healthy. Shield from Tastar coming out as well. But they're all still so healthy. It's not enough. GG. And
wow.
NaVi take game number 1.
NaVi, they take the game, and they really take this opportunity. It was a close one, though, at the end here. A really gutsy call. Well, maybe not a gutsy call, but definitely a call where you risk it a little bit. You look at it and saying, okay, we got this. There's like 15 seconds. That's all that we need to really drop them here. They have a Nubarak. If there was a Jaina, for example, on the other side, or the Kael'thas still alive, I'm pretty sure that they would not have tried because
you don't take that risk. Like, I think maybe a Nubarak, it was a very tough mission for a Nubarak as is, but he only really landed his stun on like one person at a time. If he'd maybe like got 2 or 3, it might have bought time, but that went down. That core went down way too quickly, and that keep was already low enough that it took them no time to wipe it out and gave NaVi a very easy lane to push because backdoor Abathur is amazing.
Definitely true. And, well, we are going into our second game in just, of course, a few minutes. We're heading into a short break, and then we will have map number 2 between NaVi and Kinguin. And Kinguin, they need to win 2 maps in a row now. If they don't, then they are eliminated out of the tournament, and NaVi would advance to play at Gamescom. But, of course, Kinguin has other plans here. If NaVi can clench out the 2-0 victory, or if Kinguin brings us back into a third map, that's something that we're going to find out together in just a few minutes. So, guys, stay tuned, and we'll be back with the WCA EU Pro Qualifier in a few minutes.